Hello everyone, decided to come in early.
Howdy, howdy.
Heidi and Patrick here.
Welcome to our house.
Yeah, I just turned the mic on, Wendy. I had it off. I was waiting until I knew we were and BC. I was waiting until I knew we were ready to go.
Hey BC Truck, why don't you go clean your shop up? Hey, you're making me feel guilty, by the way. You know, when I film all my videos out there, or the few that I've done, I always try to make close-up shots because I'm embarrassed of how filthy I've let my shop become over the years. So you've inspired me to up the ante a little bit. So thanks.
Careful, Patrick. You're going to give him a big head, and then he won't be able to get out of his shop.
All right, where are we at, mister? We got to find a...
So...
Where's your YouTube channel right here? Oh,
it should show up down here. Scroll.
Go into your channel?
No, just... You're on subscription. Sorry, people. He's trying to find us on his
I'm a 286 in a Pentium world.
Oh, I know why. Because you're... Here, do this. It's a good thing it came on early. Mine was dirty before I had more time at home.
Oh, right.
There you go. Now you should be able to see it there. And then just make sure you mute the sound once. Patrick's going to try to get on his own computer to make it easier. And then just hit this, and that'll mute the sound so it's not, you don't get the echo. So, okay, how is the sound? Because I know in the interview with Brad the other morning, I had the mic in a stupid place and I wasn't even thinking, and that's where the echo was coming from, and I apologize. I realized it later when I was watching the video, and I was like, doggone, silly me. So I want to make sure that where we have it set now that we're not getting an echo. We shouldn't get an echo because we don't have the sound coming back at us anyway.
Is there a lot of buffering going on?
Yeah, it's going to be a little fuzzy. We don't have, for two reasons, we don't have a really, we're just using the camera on our computer. We may down the road invest in a nicer camera if this is something we're going to keep doing and everybody likes it. And also because our internet is kind of lame. We have the fastest internet that you can get where we're at, but from what I understand, it's pretty lame compared to, you know, the rest of America, or maybe even the rest of the world. Oh, okay, good. Thank you, Homesteader gal.
Hey, did ever anybody know that they just come out with the automobile? Everybody's getting rid of their horses. Everybody's getting rid of their horses and donkeys around here. I don't know what's up. Yeah, internet. What is that?
Yeah, didn't Al Gore invent that?
He did.
So let me go up. Obviously, we know BC Truck's in here, all caffeined up and ready to go. GMC 06, Joyce Sisolak. I hope I'm saying these right. I'm not going to be able to read everybody's name. Wait a minute, Susan. That looks like Bandana Grandma. Am I confused here?
Probably.
Wait a minute, what? Bandana Grandma, I think I'm confused. I see two of you. One with a name. And
what's in your tea, honey?
Herbs.
Oh.
They're legal.
Green
all of
herbs?
them, I swear. It's
mushroom tea?
Peppermint and dandelion and licorice root. It is. It really, really is.
Though, right?
Revelation Homestead. Oh, okay, she says she's twins. That's pretty good. Or
is that
it
kind of like multitasking?
Split personality. I don't know.
Well, bear with us. We're newbies on this. I'm
seeing all your names. Oh, my brother's in here. Alexander 1018-4.
Yo, Joe, what's it going
10184. There we go. Duh. I know. Hey, bro. That's my baby brother, everyone.
I think he's got the prepping bug.
All a huge inspiration to me. I can't wait to start our path to this lifestyle. Oh,
Uh-oh.
My little brother.
We've created a monster.
My little brother, who's twice my height. I can put both of my feet in one of his shoes.
She could probably put both of his feet in the side of his ear. And so you better be careful, Joe. Better behave yourself.
Yeah, there's that too. There's the whole martial art thing. The open in a can. Yeah, we used to joke about that quite a bit.
I still think I can run faster than her, so I can kind of lip off to her a little bit.
Oh, run faster?
No, maybe not. Sorry, honey. I'm completely submissive.
Well, I mean, we have officially 5 more minutes, at least according to my clock. Maybe it's more than that. Well, 6 more minutes. This clock over here is fast. I always forget. Before we're officially supposed to start, but since Dirt Patch Heaven was having some issues with their
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, because their Wi-Fi where they're staying is not good. Kept booting them off, so we thought, well, we might as well just come on early and help fill in the gap a bit. So what we're looking at tonight is just some basic Q&A, kind of see where you're all at, what direction you'd like us to go with these live shows. And then I'm going to try to have like an itinerary. Yeah, so we're not just staring at each other and staring at you and staring and staring. Don't get official on us. LOL.
Well, I'd just like to say that I really appreciate all the support and encouragement that everybody's been to us. Sometimes you feel like you're in a world all by your lonesome
Yes.
in this venture of craziness. But we see that there's a lot more crazy people out there in the world. And it's really an encouragement to us to see people of like-mindedness that we can actually interface with in a real sense. So
Yes.
thanks. You know, we're not going to be able to. Her channel's growing exponentially, and it's really difficult to be able to keep up on all the comments. But we really appreciate everybody's support, and yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sharon and Revelation Homestead, for that. And Bandana Grandma says, you're welcome, Patrick. We appreciate you both.
Thank you very much.
BC Truck says, my interests are preparedness, tools, shops, cars, dogs, and bacon.
Oh,
I'm so surprised.
I like BC Truck.
Grizz says he's gotten lots of rain. Well, you know what? That's funny because
So you could have some of
we had a
ours.
bunch yesterday and tonight, or last night, tonight. But right now the sun's out. It's typical for our area. It's very weird. Joe, are you still here? He's having issues. But that's my little brother. He's got issues. Probably because he has me for a sister. And I saw we had a new subscriber. Thank you for that. I did see your comment go by. I don't want to try to scroll up because I'm going to miss it.
And if you have any questions, put them all in caps. If you don't get a response from us, keep asking us questions. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with all of the questions and comments that are out there. So we're not ignoring you. We're not trying to ignore you anyway. Like I said, I'm a 286 in a Pentium world, so
He is.
yeah, don't have to agree with that.
Well, I do.
You know, and we still use pen and paper around here. If anybody knows what that is.
So, Grizz, we're probably just changing weather back and forth then. So, deer season opens back up on Saturday. I hope it's still raining. So,
Keep moving.
yeah. So, we're getting close to the actual starting time. Let's see. It was 81 here today. Warm spell is over. You know, I keep thinking our warm spell is over and it'll be cold for days. And so I'm building fires, keeping the fires stoked. all of a sudden it gets warm. Right now I've got a fire going that I'm just wishing would hurry up and die.
And both the doors open.
And both the doors open. It's like, seriously? Yeah.
She's burning all of our cache of firewood up.
Yeah, and I'm really, even though we're pretty good right now on firewood, I hate burning firewood if it's not serving a purpose. It has to serve a purpose. I can't just have a fire because I like to spread it all out. Yes. No, he's not a trucker, but yes, he has CDL. You want to talk about that?
CDL, I've got a dump truck, 580 case backhoe, and
Hi, Teresa.
yeah. Who's asking the question?
BC truck? A BC truck.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was mentioning on the show the other night about how you had to go in for your CDL exam.
Ah.
And the doctor was all freaking out because he found out that he was not taking his thyroid medication. And
yeah, he pushed the red button and the sirens went off everywhere. I was gonna die.
Yeah.
You cannot.
Yeah.
You cannot not go off of thyroid medication. You have to stay on it. And lo and behold, usually when things are all okay and all you can hear is crickets, you don't hear any response back from your blood tests. I didn't hear any response back from my blood tests whether or not I'm going to die or whether or not I have to take my thyroid medication. So yes, I've not taken my thyroid medication, and Heidi keeps feeding me some just weird off the wall stuff. She has me out in the yard grazing and eating bugs. I don't know what kind of stuff she puts together.
Not entirely true. Though, I mean, I think sometimes we've probably accidentally eaten a slug or a bug, from the fresh lettuce straight from the garden. I do rinse it. But, Hey, Big Bear.
Hello, Big Family Homestead.
And Big Family Homestead.
Yep.
Wait, that was Big Family Homestead, not Big Bear. Good grief, all the letters and just flowing together. So I was going to say something else about that.
Thyroid?
Yeah, about the whole, they give you this whole big scare tactic that once you're on thyroid medication, you have to be on it for the rest of your life, or yes, you're going to die. But yeah, and then when hey Doug and Stacy, when they did all the blood tests and didn't even say a word. Now, if there was something wrong, that doctor they would have been contacting them. So we know when it comes to doctors, no GNUs is good GNUs. With Gary, GNU. But yeah, anyway, so hey Cherish. And Mama Bear is here too.
Ah.
But
you'll have to forgive me. I don't know as many people on here as Robin. I know who Robin is. A lot of you folks are, and so I apologize ahead of time. But
you'll learn.
Yeah.
Hey James. So, and you can see over here. I wonder if that's how badly it's buffering for everyone else.
Is everybody buffering like crazy, or what's up? Does everything look okay?
In fact, what you might want to do is you might want to just
shut this.
If you're not going to use that, I'd just go ahead and shut it. Then it's not pulling any more juice.
We'll de-juice this thing.
Yeah. So we're trying to work with this the best we can. So I did actually hardwire it in, hoping that you're losing sound. No. Okay. No. You're okay. Okay. Good.
Okay. So I just closed my computer, and hopefully that'll help.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that if his is running, that's going to slow it down. Because like I said, our internet's a bit shaky just because of where we're at, and that's going to be the best it's going to get. Though I think we could probably beef up our camera later on down the road and get a maybe clear picture. But
very funny, Grizz. Yeah. I like my doctor. He tells me to drink OJ, and he lets me delete it with
Grizz and his vodka. Good grief. Dr. Bombay. Okay, so anyway, it is officially time to start, or past it now.
Welcome to our house.
Yes.
And for y'all back south, my pop, she was North Carolina, raised 1,000 chickens, had the outhouse and all that, so
Tar Heel.
I'm a little bit
Teresa.
of a Tar Heel myself,
Tar Heel.
up in the Great Northwest, but
Teresa will
I can
appreciate
definitely. I kind of miss you guys as a extended family. So, welcome y'all from down south. Welcome to our house. Have a cup of coffee and sit down for a while.
Yeah. So yes, he's definitely. Sorry, he's definitely hillbilly raised. So one of the first things, I'd never heard of beans and cornbread.
Oh man!
Until
you
I
haven't
met
lived
him.
You haven't lived life unless you've had beans and cornbread.
Yes, and then
and not Johnny cake. I'm not talking
exactly.
Johnny cake. Yes.
I was going to say, I thought cornbread
Oh no.
was. I mean, I thought Johnny cake was cornbread. I'd never heard of Johnny cake, but
I'm
you know.
still working on raising her, by the way.
So I had to learn the difference between Johnny cake and real cornbread, and that cornbread, the Tar Heel, it is Tar Heel, Heel, anyway, white cornmeal, no sugar, and buttermilk. Very different from Johnny cake. So
Ain't no sense in spoiling it, right?
see, now Teresa says no, Johnny cake is a fritter. All I know is the yellow cornbread that I would make, the puffy kind with the sugar in it, was not hillbilly cornbread. And I had to learn how to do it right and then bake it in the cast iron oven with lots of bacon grease so it get good and crispy on the bottom. Yeah. So, okay, question. I have some vanilla bean from last December that I kept in the fridge. I would think so, Sodbuster. I actually at first started keeping my vanilla beans in the freezer, but then I wanted to stock up on a bunch. The dogs, stop.
How would you like dog for dinner, honey?
Yeah.
I'll go skin one. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Sorry, they're still puppies. They're rat terrier dachshund. But anyway, I'm glad I stocked up on vanilla beans when I did, because at the time I was buying them, they were $30 for a quarter pound. You look at them now, they are $92 for 1/4 pound. But anyway, what I did when I went and bought a whole bunch and just kept getting a little bit more every month. And then now I've got a couple of canning jars, and I vacuum sealed them in there, and that works really great. So then I just pull out a couple of beans when I need to make more, and then reseal it again.
Hey Alexander, what's your question again? I don't quite get that.
That's Joe.
Yeah, but are you talking about electricity or what?
Okay. Dog? Luna.
Kill him.
I'm really sorry. The dog.
You guys, get your
Particular brand or watt
data.
you recommend for the solar? That sounds like he's talking about solar. Solar panels. There he is. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up here.
Well, that technology changes constantly.
It does.
Their businesses are coming and going all the time, and so we got ours probably 3 years ago. The last time we kind of worked on solar.
The last set that we got might have been, because we've been building on it for years.
The last ones we got were SunTech, and they seem to be really reliable. But like I say, I mean, the solar industry changes like the wind, and you can. What I would recommend is get in there and see what you can find out there, and just do a customer review on some of this stuff.
BC Truck says, my little dog is staring at the computer to see if there's a dog in there.
Yeah, we got 2 dogs in the house here.
Yeah, and Luna, she's a little more barky than her brother, but she's trying to bark quietly. That's her way of obeying. She does this quiet roar. Yeah, they're in their crate right now.
Well, BC Truck, the dogs have to be entertained too, right?
So yeah, but anyway, I know that, what is it? The monocrystalline. Am I saying that right?
Monocrystalline. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the one. at least when we're buying them. Luna, stop.
Hey, right
We
now.
may have to take her out to the trailer. That will make him quiet. That was the one that was better than the polycrystalline. If you're looking at solar panels, if I'm remembering correctly, he was the one that did most of the piecing together. But I did help shop for some, and I remember learning some of that stuff. But that was mostly his thing.
Yeah, you don't want to go with the poly. You want to go with the mono.
Yeah, unless things have changed and there's a whole new one now. Yeah, yes, and she frequently has things she wants to tell us, Sharon.
There's a good question here from Flying versus Farm. Do you have any advice for a young homesteader starting out? Get out of debt. That's your first thing to do. Beans and rice are cheap. Focus on getting some of the basics. Beans have a lot of protein, and they keep for a long time. But yeah, that's the number one thing that I can think of when you're first starting out in preparing, for any type of disaster, or just to bridge the gap between tight paychecks, is to get out of debt. If you're out of debt, you don't have that overhead every month.
Okay. Stop. I'm wondering if Grizz is the only one that's buffering. Hope says she's buffering really bad too. So, sorry guys. I should check and see if. I'm wondering if you should just take her out there to Justin and see if he's doing anything online, because you may have to ask them to stop for now. It's really warm in here. Die, fire, die. Okay, so where did we leave off? We were okay. Yeah, the debt. Yep, debt is slavery. So getting out of debt, and then like I was saying, for those who were able to watch on Full Spectrum Survive, was it Full Spectrum Survive? I don't know. I did both those shows. I did the interview with Brad from Big Family Homestead in the morning, and then was on Full Spectrum Survival in the evening. So I did, on one of them was talking about how, so if you're just starting out, whether it be homesteading or prepping, I mean, they can go hand in hand. It's, besides the getting out of debt, which obviously is a big one, you really want to break that, work that debt down. And I mentioned this in one of my videos that I know some people follow Dave Ramsey, and he's got some really good stuff, but the thing was we already kind of knew all that and figured it out on our own by the time someone said, hey, you might want to listen to this guy, and it's like, okay, well, that's not really anything new to us. But he talks about the snowball effect, and I get where he's talking about is first you pay off this debt, then you take all the money that was formerly making those payments, and then you pile it onto this debt, and that's your snowball, and I get that. But for us, when we got to that point where it's like, let's get out of debt, we only had the house. So our snowball effect went more like this. We were focusing on, we just cut out anything extra. We stopped to run into town to do shopping. We did all our shopping local, which is good anyway. But run into town doesn't really save you that much money. There's just things you can get in town you can't get here. But it really doesn't save you money because you got gas, and then you end up going out to eat. And so we cut all those things. And we weren't big into a lot of fancy schmancy stuff. We didn't buy, $5, $6, $7 cup coffees. We always made our coffee at home. So some of that stuff was no big deal. But anyway, the point I'm trying to say with all my rambling is that when you start making those little changes and cutting something out, and then you're able to take the extra you would spend on that and put it onto your principal, and then you see the changes, and then you see, wow, look how far ahead we are. Then it's like, what else can we do? What else can we do? and we would spend, like, we had set days, like Thursdays are the first day of his weekend, And so Thursday mornings we'd get up, we'd have our coffee, and we'd sit and we would talk about what can we do to save more money, and how much money, or let's set a new goal, like how soon do you think we can get the house paid off? And we would make the goal seem even unrealistic. And I was like, oh, I don't want to make it too unrealistic, because then I'll feel disappointed if we don't make it. But you know what? The funny thing was, that goal that I thought was unrealistic, we not only met that unrealistic goal in time, we met it 6 months ahead of time in paying off the house.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty cool. And we did that simply by just cutting out all the excess stuff.
What you'll also find out is that those goals almost seem unattainable when you first start dancing around the idea of getting out of debt, because society has us in a mindset or program to think, oh, we can't live without the latte. We can't, we want to be comfortable, so we want to keep the house temperature up to 80 degrees, and but once you start adjusting the minute things in your life, you start acclimating to that environment per se. And then after a while, it seems like your paychecks get bigger because you're saving more money, so that's more money in your pocket. Penny saved is a penny earned. So if you're thinking about getting out of debt, if you're thinking about saving up, that's just a buffer. The more you save, the more food that you can squirrel away a little bit there. That'll help bridge you through the tough times, and it'll also help you in your endeavors to get out of debt. So once you start cutting back on different things, you'll start noticing that it's a little bit addictive, and you're going to start making a challenge out of it. It's just like exercise, and it's a you get your endorphins going. I wouldn't know about this anymore because I used to run 5 miles a day, and now I couldn't probably put in 50 feet without passing out. But the more that you exercise, the more you want to do that, and that's the same with a lot of things in life. If you're working out and getting out of debt, again, you're thinking, oh, what can I do here? What can I do there? And you're going to find out that it becomes addictive after a while. And I would suggest, I don't know what Heidi said, but start with a little credit card, your smallest bill first, and get that thing paid off. Get rid of the credit card.
Yeah.
Go to your next biggest bill, do that, and you'll start finding out that things are going to start snowballing for you in a positive direction. So anyhow.
Right, Teresa. I don't know how hot it is in here now, but it is too hot. I had to open up the doors. As far as the buffering, I'm seeing back and forth. Some people say they're good, some people say... I noticed that our bar across the top is yellow. I think it's supposed to be green, so I think it looks like some of it is on our end, because I do believe I remember seeing it be green before. So I'm afraid to refresh because I don't know what would happen, because I've never done that for a live show. So of course I've only done test runs so far. But there's Big Bear. There's Jason. I saw Big last time. So is Brad even still in here?
I see it says do the Dave Ramsey book. We've never done the Dave Ramsey book, but we just kind of looked at things.
I do recommend it though.
Yeah, I hear it's really great, and a lot of people subscribe to that or purchase that material to get out of debt, and that's great. We just looked at things logically. Okay, why are we encumbered by burden of debt? Well, how do we get out from underneath that thing? We'll just start shoveling, and after you shovel for a while, you figure, okay, well, let's get this off of me. Let's get this off my back, and kind of goes with the saying that after a while, you don't own things; things own you. And I mean, I have things. I have lots of junk. I'm addicted to junk, and but those things are paid for, and they own me in such a way that, you know, how many small engines do I have around here that I have to replace the oil in or maintain? You know, part of that saying goes with that is you know, the less you have, the less encumbrances you have. But on a prepping standpoint or a homesteading standpoint, we like to think of our homestead, if you will, as a adding the old with the new, and, you know, taking some of the old technologies and retrofitting with like solar power, you know, helping to augment our progression towards independence, financial independence.
I'm trying to keep up with all the comments. I'm seeing most of them. Bandana Grandma, that's exactly, somebody actually gave us some DVDs to borrow, but we were already there when we were listening to them going. It was still interesting. Like I said, it kind of made us feel good. It's like, okay,
we're doing that.
No new, but we're doing that. You know, we're not really learning much new, but
check.
That makes us feel good that we're already there.
Right.
And then we did some things a little bit differently. You know, I understood his whole envelope method. We did something similar, but not quite. But yeah, I still recommend it for those who are really trying to get out of debt.
Right on, Grizz. Congratulations. Feels good to have no debt.
Yeah.
Even my home and timberland is paid for.
Awesome.
Good call.
Yeah, and so and I saw Hope was saying that they're getting there too, and no matter where you're at as far as debt goes, don't let anything get you down from that going, oh wow, I'm just covered up in debt. Don't feel that it's impossible. It's just like anything else. You have to start somewhere, and once you get moving, you will start to see changes. And I saw a lot of people talking about some of the things they cut out, you know, like going to the salon. Well, what is a salon anyway?
Well, BC Truck said he only has one vehicle, one set of tires, one insurance.
And I don't think he goes to a salon either.
BC Truck?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he does. But that's the point. You know, if you only have a little bit to maintain, you only have a little bit to pay for. So, yeah, I know sometimes people think that it's an unattainable goal,
right.
But it takes you know, years to get into debt. It takes years to get out. It takes a lot longer to get out. So,
yep.
I mean, if you can pay cash for stuff, I try to preach to my kids. You know, if the closer you can pay cash for stuff, the better off you are. My oldest son, he's doing very well. I'm not going to brag about all he has, but for a 24-year-old kid, he's
paid cash for everything up until the house that he's buying.
So he's buying a house, and I think he's doing very well based on, you know, the principles of.
Yes, London Warbs. This is Patrick. This is my husband. He's in a few videos. He does have a few videos.
Is your husband coming home?
Is Mr. Rain a ninja also? No, he just carries a really big stick.
Big sticks and things that help augment the lack of muscle and skill.
Well, and both our sons are black belts as well. Ryan, my oldest, and we have black belts in Taekwondo and in Wu Wei Gung Fu. And I don't know that I've mentioned this before, but the Wu Wei Gung Fu instructor was Sifu Joseph Cowles, and you can find him online. He was a former student of Bruce Lee and knew him well. They were good friends. And we were just so blessed.
Very humble man.
Very humble man. He's just one of the sweetest people I know. And he was in his 80s when he was teaching us. And he was working with me and Ryan. It was just pretty much private classes. And he was little. I swear he wasn't any taller than me. and real thin, kind of palsied, shake a little bit, but he could still take it down in lightning flash, just down to the ground. And he passed away a couple of years ago, but he had a really good life. Amazing man. Had some wonderful stories about Bruce Lee and being in class with him too. So it's kind of cool because that means that I'm like second generation Bruce Lee student, and you put it that way. So, but he was the founder and creator of Wu Wei Gung Fu. So he took Bruce Lee's tap roots and created that. So anyway, Ryan and I got our black belts in that through him, and then both of my sons and myself, we all got black belts in Taekwondo as well. So
I have a black belt.
He wears black belts sometimes.
I actually have 2 black belts.
Yeah.
Next question.
And that's enough about that.
No, it's pretty neat. Joseph Cowles there, we went to visit him in the hospital when he was ill and he was getting ready to pass on, and he said, "Hey Patrick, come here for a minute," and so I leaned over and he grabs my hand and he says, "This is what you do if Heidi gets out of line to you and she tries to beat you up, just try this move on her, but don't show it to her." So
I'm standing right there.
he was showing me martial arts, Wu Wei Gung Fu moves
pretty much
to protect myself from my wife.
On his deathbed.
Oh, yeah.
and he was just so neat. He was all shaking. He was so weak, and he said, "You just do this," and it was.
You didn't see that,
so
did
sweet. I was standing right there. Oh, he had a good sense of humor. He was such an amazing guy. So like I said, if you get a chance, go look up Joseph Cowles, Cowles, and you'll find Wu Wei Gung Fu, you'll find Bruce Lee. I mean, it's all linked together.
Yeah, Jay Wallace, you probably have the same belts I have. Yeah.
More stories.
I have a black belt in leather.
Well, some of the stories I remember were, I mean, they'd go out to eat and stuff, but before Joseph Cowles started taking classes from Bruce Lee, he already had a black belt in, I think, judo, and he worked for, I think it was, I don't know if it was UPS, it was some shipping company, and he had pretty tough forearms. And so there's an arm banging exercise called oh gosh, now it's been so long, I want to say Bong Sao, no, anyway, where you toughen up your arms and you're working with a partner and you're bam 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 bam, you're doing this, and I guess the other students were complaining that Joseph was hitting too hard, and he was just not thinking about it. To him, it wasn't hard. And so Bruce Lee came up to him and says, "Okay, we're going to do this together." And then he just wow and did a back fist right to the side of his head and kind of made him. But he figured if you're going to try to get cocky and out of line, he's going to just like that.
Humility.
But And that wasn't Joseph, Sifu Cowles, that wasn't his way. And Bruce Lee figured that out later, that really wasn't his way. But, you got to see the coffee mug. Let's get it. Hopefully you can see the picture. And I'll read it to you if you can't see it, if the picture's too blurry. It says, I guess I got to have glasses on to read it. I tell you what this means, Norm. No size restrictions and screw the limit. Get that? Yeah. We like Gary Larson.
We're sick.
I have a black belt that holds a black gun. That's good too. Awesome.
Amen.
Black belt and vodka. Why am I not surprised? I love Far Side. Yeah. So when we were on our honeymoon, we stopped at this little touristy town, and they had Gary Larson was really, the Far Side was super popular then, and you could buy these mugs brand new, and we had bought a couple of them, and just we loved them, and over the years they disappeared. They just up and disappeared. He probably left them sitting somewhere really weird. He tends to do that. I'll find cups of moldy coffee out on a firewood. It's like, are you serious? But so for a few years there, I was going to eBay and finding these, because it's the only place you can find them. They're not made anymore, so you can pay quite a bit for some of them, but I found this one. I'd never seen that one before, and I found that one a couple years ago, and I had to have it. So, for him. Had to have it for him. That's his mug.
Somebody pray for a nuclear war so we don't have any more rules.
Rules schmules. Permit schmermits, right?
So did anybody have any questions,
other
that we missed? I'm sure we have.
Oh, yeah, questions that we missed.
Put them all caps.
I hope we still have moderators in here, by the way.
Oh, do we have any moderators?
We do have moderators. I hope they're still here. They didn't all give up and leave. But we've got a good group right now, so.
Oh, yeah?
And even Grizz has pretty much been behaving himself. Thank you, Grizz. Rules are made so they can be broken. That's right, Teresa.
I break them. I don't even know I'm doing it.
So now you are a ninja.
How long
have you been married?
Oh, yeah.
And Angie, you asked a question earlier, I remember now, and I think I missed it. Okay, so we've been married for 26 and a half years.
Is that all?
Yes, dear. And we got stop. We got into homesteading. Well, gosh, again, that's that question that Brad was asking me the other day, and it was a series of events that got us to this, and a little bit at a time. You know, that part of me that's always been kind of always longing for a more old-fashioned type lifestyle, and maybe someday have a farm, maybe. I mean, those things were always kind of there from the time I was a child. And for him, he was sort of raised that way. I mean, his grandmother in North Carolina, she'd had 10 kids, and they lived completely off-grid. And so his dad, you know, he's always telling us stories of all the things that they had to do. And, you know, how they kept the food cold and with the water. Yeah, it was some kind of, I know there's a name for it, I can't think of it, and somebody here will know.
Oh.
It's like some kind of shed you build right off the river.
Like a pump house, you build it low, and you have running water running through it. And basically, a swamp cooler comes to mind, but I don't know if that's the correct terminology. But yeah, they used to be able to, you know, a root cellar type of an application, but they build it next to a stream, and a cold water rush, you know, running through that little building would
spring house. Thank you, Sharon.
Yeah, thank you very much. And right, do you have one?
Yes. There we go. I knew somebody would get it. No, we're just now. I know we've got quite a delay going on here.
Help educate us here. We're still on the road of knowledge here, so. But
yeah, it's been kind of cool because, you know, as we started getting into this, and as far as really jumping into it, I would say 5 years, maybe.
Teresa Dean, what's that?
Oh, the washing soap one. I would think so. I would think that it would be good. It would be good for sensitive skin. You're talking about the laundry soap, I'm thinking. What got you into herbs? Well, that goes back to the whole thyroid thing. That's, well, part of it.
Well, dismissal of pharma.
Yeah, just becoming convinced that there was a better way to do things. That our Creator knew what He was doing when He made us. That He made our bodies intelligent, and He knew what He was doing when He gave us the herbs and the vegetation to eat. And so I don't know. Again, it's like it was like this multifaceted thing, and that got us in all these different directions. And I tell you, I was watching this might be about 6 years ago. I was watching documentary after documentary after documentary about political things, historical things. The food documentaries, like, you know, that's where I first learned about Joel Salatin. Like, is it Food Inc.? And he was in a few of them. And wow, you know, so I learned so much. And you know, it's amazing how much you can learn on your own when you realize the need to learn it. it's like, how come I never learned any of this stuff in school, like such as the Dust Bowl? It was just as far as I was concerned in school, it was the name of a place that was east of us that was very dusty. That was about all I got out of it in school. And so when I watched that documentary by Ken Burns on the Dust Bowl, boy, I tell you, that was a real eye-opener. I know after the first episode, I sat there, because I think it's in 3 parts, I just sat there and cried. I just was like, wow, I was blown away at how truly horrible that was. And then you look at how the whole farming thing, did we really change? Why are we still doing this? How come we haven't learned from this? Why is this still happening? And if that happens, if we have an event like this again, it's going to be far worse than what happened in the 30s. Because now you're going to have all those chemicals and all the GMO corn, and it's gonna be horrible if that happens again.
That's right, Big Bear. It's like Dust Bowl. Well, that must have something to do with football or some sort of a entertainment that we see on TV. Yeah, you go to a generation or two, things become detached, and we end up forgetting our roots. People used to homestead, or people used to be preppers because they had to be, because it was a necessity to get them through the winter, because they didn't have a lot of extra. They couldn't just go down to the store and buy it. My pops, he talked about being barefoot, and the whole
thank you, Sugar Runner.
All the things that you would imagine that happened back in the 30s, and some of the things you read about and seen on TV as far as the kids running around in the coveralls that are all wore out and barefoot and no shirt, and he lived that kind of thing, and he was tougher than a pine knot as a result of it. So some of his he's become a little softer in his old age, but
he has a right to now.
Yeah, but he's still tougher than a pine knot.
Hard working knot.
Yep, still tougher than a pine knot, and a little bit of that rubbed off on me. So just a little bit, but not enough.
Seeing just a lot of great comments going by. I think it was bad when we went to school. Nowadays, you wouldn't believe what they don't teach. I'm not surprised.
Or what they do teach.
Okay, so a lot of you know that I taught ballet for 26 years. And I can tell you just by observing my students over that period of time how things have changed.
Degraded, yeah.
Yes. And
I
have to be careful what I say, but I saw a decline in a lot of things in my students, in their how healthy they were. I mean, when I first started teaching, it was rare to have a kid out sick. Then it became, more the norm to have at least one kid out sick. Then it became rare for me to have a whole class without at least 2 or 3 kids not out sick. So, and that's just the health thing. And I could go on other stories, but I watched the decline in their education and what they were able to grasp. The things that I could teach, like when I first started teaching them.
Stick-to-itiveness,
Or 27 years. It was 27 years. We were married for 26 years, 27 years in the dance. So 27 years ago, the things I could teach to a 12-year-old, or a 6-year-old, now that became the something that I had to teach a 12-year-old because they couldn't grasp it. And the things that I was teaching to 6-year-olds now was I had to do the curriculum I would have used more for a 3-year-old. It was pretty sad. And that wasn't the case all the way across the board with all the kids, but I did notice that typically the homeschool kids were the ones that were able to catch on a little faster, and they usually progressed a lot quicker. So, see you simply. And by the way, Mr. Rain, do you like homesteading? And before he answers, I want to say, is anyone still buffering? Is everything still, is the sound and everything still going good? But then he can go ahead and answer.
Yes. I mean, that I don't want to take credit, but when I met Heidi, she was, a little bit of a city girl.
I was.
And, I'm kind of a Northwest hick. And, born a Yankee and raised a rebel. And, so I want to take some credit for little Miss Heidi over here, and the fact that we've had a merging over the last 25 years or so of being together. I think if years ago we would have been a little bit more in tune with each other, we'd have probably been farther along in our quest for having the property and different things that we kind of yearn to have right now. Both of us are up in our 50s, and we're doing all we can to squirrel away money, and eventually, if we get there, we might be able to get a piece of dirt someplace and keep you guys informed. So
thank you, Big Bear.
So that's one of the reasons why we're on the Homestead Network, because it's our extended family, and we yearn to homestead, and we love to homestead, and we're homesteading where we're at. I don't think anybody out there can really define homesteading as sodbusters coming across into uncharted territory and starting to build a hut from bare hands. Even back then, you stop to think, back when they were coming west, in their wagon trains and then with their mules and stuff like that, they had the modern technology of the day, but they had to travel light as they could, but they still had tools, they still had knives and axes and different things to get them through. But today I think we have to incorporate some of our old ways with some of our new ways in order to augment our goals. Solar, for instance. The money that we have invested in solar is never going to pay for itself monetarily, but it will. It's already paid for itself in the fact that we can, run our freezer just about year round. And I would say with the solar array and the storage that we have, if it's just to run a single freezer, we could do that. And as a matter of fact, it's one of those things where things that make your life easier but make yourself a little more independent. That's where we're at. We're really excited about continuing on this binge toward independence.
Now, a lot of people have been asking questions, and I've been trying to remember them all. Patrick needs to do a solar panel cleaning video, please. It's probably about time for us to clean ours anyway, JM.
Yeah, at some point in time, I need to do a little bit more videos, I guess you would say. Yeah, right. I'm not a very good teacher, so some of the videos that you're going to see are going to be more just shots of stuff that I do. But the best way to clean your solar panels and the cheapest way to clean your solar panels is to buy a soft vehicle brush, like a truck brush. BC Truck can jump in here and vouch for what I'm saying. They make a very soft wash brush for your vehicles, but only use that for your solar panels, because you don't want to scratch your polycarbonate finish on there. I heard some about using a pressure washer on your solar panels. I would advise against it, because you might adversely affect the integrity of the seams around the perimeter of your solar panels. So I would just recommend, like a dishwashing liquid, a mild soap, and a wash bucket, and get up there with a very clean, unused, virgin, if you will, scrub brush that will not scratch your solar panels, and just go that way. Also, wax them. That will help in oxidation, because they will over time get oxidized.
Okay, there's a lot of really good questions, and I'm not remembering them all, so if I miss it, try to post it again. He's a little bit long-winded, so that's okay. He's doing good.
I learned from the best.
So as far as silver, just a little. I do remember that question. Sharon says you did a fantastic job with showing us what you did with the wash buckets. Is prepping your end goal with homesteading, or is it to live more simply connected with the past? I would say, it's kind of everything. I think, like most people in here, we started out as preppers, and that kind of brings up another question I saw. Somebody asked if we were going to stay here. As far as in the area, we've talked a lot back and forth. Right now, we're wanting to make the best of what we have right now. We're still shopping around for property and saving up for it, but with the way things are going, especially, I think this is going to be especially us ladies. We're offline? Okay, let's see here. It's not showing green. Oh, it says it resumed. Looks like we're back on. Stream is continuing.
Okay.
Let me minimize that. Okay. Last thing I heard was silver. Okay, so I have to think what I said. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. So what did I say after that? Oh, well, okay. We are at this point not planning on leaving the area, but it doesn't mean we're not shopping around. We do still want to get some property. We're still shopping, but it's really we're just, I don't know, I'm having a hard time trying to think of all the questions I saw that were related and put them together. We want to stay kind of close to our children because of the way things are going, and of course, as a mama, I do want to stay close to my boys.
We want to keep options open, though. We don't want to get pigeonholed into one thing.
Yeah. We
want to be able to try to save what we can, keep our eye open for the godsend deal, but we also, want to be here for our kids, just like, any parent might want to, so.
Well, and especially because, and here's the thing that I really wish we were thinking more along the way we've been for the past 5 years or so. It's been longer than that we've really been thinking this way. But while we were homeschooling our kids and raising them, though I don't regret what we did raising them, but had we been a little more into this, what we're doing now while we're raising them, like so many of you are, like I haven't watched them all yet, but the Through the Eyes of the Homestead Kids, what the name of that Deep South Homestead started. What a great thing, and I'm watching these kids going, man, if we would have been doing this with our kids, just think of all the things they would already know. But the good thing is we're still setting that example for them now, and I'm seeing it pay off. And my oldest son's girlfriend, she's really interested in the stuff that we're doing, and she wants to get chickens. We don't even have chickens yet. We're working on it, but she's wanting to get chickens and possibly rabbits and have a little orchard and a garden. And so I want to be close so that as they get interested in this stuff, we can help them out where they're at as well through a kid's eyes. Thank you, Big Bear.
And so also there was a question about the chicken coop, the chicken house. Yeah, that's a kind of a piecemeal thing. We keep you guys on the edge of your seat, waiting for the next little. Hey, I got to remove the forms off of the last set of stem walls that I put in, but it's a work in progress. It's a little bit slow coming, but I have a few days off, use or lose time that I have to take. So the next project that I have to do as far as the chicken coop's concerned is I have to pour a concrete floor in there, and I'm trying to make the chicken coop kind of a Taj Mahal for chickens, and a little bit easier for us, for the guys that go in and clean the rooms, to make it easy to where we can just take a flat shovel in there and shovel up the waste and keep it clean for the chickens. So
okay, it looks like we have a really low output. Okay, we're showing red now, so I'm not surprised that some of you are having more problems again. I don't know what to do. We've only got 10 minutes left, and then Big Family Homestead's coming on with their Tech Talk. So I'm afraid at this point to try doing a refresh or anything like that, especially with just so little time left. So if some people are still seeing us, I'm going to go ahead and keep going, and hopefully next week will be better. And I'm really sorry about that, but I cut you off, Patrick. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I think they're still seeing me because Sharon Brown mentioned our build on trailers, and we can walk in and clean them up easily. We have a limited, we're on a third of an acre.
That's right, I've seen the pictures of hers.
And yeah, it's a very interesting concept.
Thank you, Teresa.
But we're building our chicken coop underneath our kids' playhouse. So we're trying to maximize our property, and it's actually a pretty big pour for one guy to do, and I've been hand mixing out of a wheelbarrow. So I gotta try to be able to mix the concrete without getting cold joints in the concrete and having it set up on me before I can get it troweled out and smooth. So I'm going to kind of procrastinate on that a little bit, just because of that particular step in the way things work. But yeah, we're still working on the group. Persistence will prevail, and we will get it done. But it's just going to take a little bit of time. I got a lot of other projects that we're working on as well.
Okay, somebody, Elk Hound has asked a couple times if you work in the woods. That was the other question. I was trying to remember.
Yes, we are in the middle of the woods, and I do work here.
But he's not a logger.
My father was a stump manufacturer, and I come from we're in a logging area. And
not as much as it used to be. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's a metamorphosis to a different way of life, and yeah. So
I was trying to remember. There was some more questions. I'm sorry. There go. Get a little crazy with my fan here. It's really warm. Good grief.
I can't remember. There was a question back up above there that.
Yeah, I saw some really. Well, I saw. Well, this wasn't a question, but Teresa was talking about the cilantro. I cannot grow cilantro with beans. Oh, and wind power. That was the other question that Teresa had asked. Yeah, the suspenders and the beard.
Currently, we don't have wind alternative energy as far as the wind's concerned.
Washington.
My theory behind alternative energy is anything mechanical will wear out faster than anything that's non-mechanical. Right. And so wind turbines can be tricky, and they can also be unreliable. You have to have wind to operate them, not unless you get up there and figure out a way to pedal on them somehow. But sun is pretty much guaranteed, even though the sun has to get through clouds around here.
Thank you,
we
James.
do get sun every day, and but you don't get wind every day. And so we're making the best with what we got here. You adapt and you overcome, and so that's kind of where we're at. I figure, well, if
Hi, James.
we're here, we can make power from the sun. We're going to do that. But yeah, wind power. In order to get a significant amount of power out of wind, you're gonna have to have a significant amount of wind turbines, and you're gonna have them elevated, and they're kind of noisy, and they're also very tricky to operate, especially in a neighborhood. We're in a neighborhood. Some of the videos might look like we're out in the wild, wild west, and we've got millions of acres behind us, but
our little third of a nature.
Yeah, it's kind of our little oasis.
I do want to answer a question. I saw Beth was asking if this was Snoqualmie Falls. No, Snoqualmie Falls is much bigger than that. This picture here is actually more local. I'll turn it just a little bit. You might see. Yeah, turn it the other way. Yeah, right there. That was taken locally. We've got a bunch of them around here. We've got which is it? Is it Marymere Falls? Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, it's not Snoqualmie. Snoqualmie's much bigger than that. And then this lovely painting right here, a local lady did that. Her name is Christine Wassencarry, and you can find her on Facebook. She has a Facebook page for her artwork. The Art of Christine Wassencarry. She does beautiful, vibrant work, and it's a multimedia. So that's actually like a fern leaf that she she put it on there. It's actually in there, and that was always been one of my favorite, and then it became a gift to me one Christmas. So it was I was very, very blessed by that, because she used to sell back before 2008, when things went toe up. She used to sell her artwork like crazy in the Seattle area. So,
and the bottom fell out of the market. And they're also homestead-y.
Yes, they're very homesteady, and they helped to get us into, helped us a lot to get us to where we're at as well, just with advice and different things. They're just good people.
Yes, Big Bear. I was in the service.
Yes, but he wasn't a Marine. He was in the Army. Sorry. In fact, when I met him, he hadn't been home long from the Army. Yeah, he had a few months, maybe 6 months.
Yeah, about 6 months.
Yeah.
And I swept her off her feet.
And I had just moved to this area. Well, I was here to visit. I came to visit, and I ended up staying. So, Wassencarry, it's just like it sounds. It's Wasankari. Actually, I can type this. Duh. That's if my S key will work, which is not going to work right now. So
there was a question about solar back there, and I kind of missed it. But I think what the question was a concern for the lack of sun here and not having enough sun to have enough power to do what you're going to do. Well, if one solar panel isn't enough, you get two.
Okay, people, we only got a couple more minutes left, and so I don't want to forget to say, go over to Big Family Homestead, and I believe tonight is their Tech Talk. So, and they always have some really great stuff. I think it was last week of the green screen one. I was laughing my rear end off. It was so hilarious. But good information. We've learned a lot from them. So, yes, this was our first marriage. So,
it was my this is my first marriage too.
His first. Yeah. And mine too. So, and again, we've been married for 26 and a half years. I was 22 when I met him, and he was 24. So
back on the solar with Teresa. Our solar array is facing east on a 512 pitch roof, and so it's not the optimal pitch to get your optimal solar. So just I figure, well, I don't want those things facing the street, and some people, it might not be very attractive to folks. So I just outfitted my whole east side of the garage, which is not facing the road, with solar panels. And so I figure the more the better, to make up the difference on that. So
okay, well, I'm going to say a couple more things, and then we're going to have to go. Yes, Jam, the DeVace family made me who made me realize I can do that here. We don't have to have the huge property, and they were definitely an inspiration. So, and there was something else I wanted to answer, but we really need to get off here, so don't forget to jump over to Big Family Homestead. And thank you all so much for joining us, and hopefully next week we'll have a little smoother internet, but don't depend on it. Again, we don't have the best internet in the world where we live. We have the best internet for our area. So anyway, thanks everyone, and take care, and God bless. Wait, Patrick. Say goodnight, Gracie.